and welcome to Life in Envelopes. I am Jennifer Bleecher. This channel is all about planning, budgeting, paying off debt, and my very exciting journey from full-time teacher to full-time Etsy shop owner and YouTuber. So if that is something that you think you would like to see, then please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you guys along on this journey. Today we're going to close out my August budget. And I'm going to be using this file of facts from the Budget Mom as well as her Budget by Paycheck workbook. I am also using this little planner binder from Amazon. Everything I use from Amazon is linked down below in my Amazon storefront. I also have links to this down below. Anytime I have a discount code, its information is with the links down below. This here is a printable from my good friend Ira over in the UK. He made a hilarious video this week about me called Spilling the Tea on Jennifer Bleecher or something like that. It was awesome. So I'll put a link to that video down below because it was so funny. But what I was using before was I was using my Plum Paper notebook, and if you've been following me along with me this month, this sheet, which worked great with the way I used to budget, just doesn't work with the way I'm doing my budget now with cash envelopes. I had category, budgeted, actual, difference, and then monthly total. That just didn't work. I needed a format like this, which is the category, what I started with, deposit, what I spent, and so how much is rolling over to the next week. That's what I need. This is the exact format that I need. So I went ahead and printed this out. I'm so excited to show you how I'm using it today. I've already filled in the first 3 weeks. We'll do the 4th week together today. And then I'm also using these category stickers from my good friend Cara Jo Plans. So I have links, like I said, I have links to everything down below. And anytime I have a coupon code, I will also have a link for that as well. Okay, so starting with the expense tracker, the way I use her notebook is every week I do a new expense tracker on a new page. So this is for week 4, which is what we're looking at today. And it's really funny, since I've started doing the cash envelopes, the amount I have to write here has dramatically decreased. So I'll just show you, like last month. Let's see, this is what it used to be like, and this is what it's like now. So let's take a look at our monthly spread and put down where we spent our money this week. Starting with bills. We had one bill this week to Alliant. That is like our gas for our house, and that was $32. Okay, that's it for bills. Moving on to debt. Our van payment came out this week. Our van payment is $445. That came out on Monday. And then I had a student loan payment come out as well for $40, and that came out on Tuesday. So that is it for bills and debt. And the way I categorize things as a bill or a debt is if it's something that I'm always going to have to pay, even like after I'm retired fully, that's a bill. So like gas, I'm always going to have to pay that. But if it's a debt, to me, is something that's going to eventually be paid off. So my car loan will eventually be paid off, and my student loan will eventually be paid off. So I consider those debts. Okay, so I decided for my variable expenses, food, gas, miscellaneous, medical, sinking fund spending. So all of these. So we are currently using my Etsy Pay to cover those variable expenses, and then each week I go to the bank and I take out a certain amount for each category. And if I don't take out anything, I haven't been tracking it, but I want to start tracking it even if I take out nothing. That way when I look back, I can see, oh, I didn't take out anything that week. So for example, this week for food, we didn't take out anything, so that was $0. For gas, again, we didn't take out anything. In case you missed last week, I didn't make any money in Etsy, so that's why we didn't take anything out. Miscellaneous was $0. And the reason why I didn't make any money in Etsy is because my family had gone on vacation, so my shop was on vacation, and it was closed from paycheck to paycheck, so there was just no opportunity for me to make anything. Medical was $0. We took $0 out. And spending, we still took our $45 for spending. I'm just going to move that over here. And sinking funds. So we didn't take anything out last week. So I forgot to write that down. Let me write that down really quickly. Okay, so sinking funds was also 0. So I'm going to start doing that every week because I want to see how much I'm taking out. When I close out my budget at the end of the month, like we're going to do today, that information will be helpful. So that's why I decided to start doing that. Okay, so let's take a look at what we budgeted this week and what we actually spent this week. So starting with income, we budgeted 0 for Etsy and we actually got 0 for Etsy. Our rollover from last week was $374. I believe that was accurate. Let me just double check. Yep, it was $374. And YouTube, we were paid $200 and, is that right? Was I paid $250? Let me check. $51, $20, $40, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, oops, $5, $10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that's $230, but we also, there was another 20 that went to David's spending money, so that was actually $250 that we were paid. Okay, so that is correct. We were paid $250 from Etsy this week. Oh, wait. Oh, that's funny. That's actually YouTube and not Etsy, but I was thinking, this money is for next week. Why is it here? Yeah, that's funny. It just happens to be the same amount. Okay, yes, we were in fact paid $250 from YouTube. Okay, so $374 plus $250 is $624. Student loan was actually $40. The van was actually $445. And Alliant Energy, I didn't have anything for budgeted because I wasn't expecting to pay that bill this week. And it ended up costing $32. So let's see what that would be all together. So that's $517. So $624 minus $517, that's $107. So I'm going to bring that down here. Okay, we didn't take anything out for food. We took out $20 for David's spending. We didn't take anything out for gas, and we didn't take anything out from medical. Logan and I also got our spending money, but we took it from the cash envelopes. So 107 minus 20 is 87. Whoops. I make that mistake a lot. We took out 20 for, now we have $87. I'm gonna put that 87 over here. We are going to do cash envelope, or we are going to do sinking funds, but I'm going to have to do that in a separate video because I want to close this month out first, get the cash that I'm going to have available to do the sinking funds, and then do the sinking funds. So that's going to be another video. Okay, so as at this point in time, we have $87, and I'm not planning on rolling that over to next month. So I'm going to put that towards our sinking fund. So $87 will go towards sinking funds. Last week, I asked you guys if I should do sinking funds or extra debt with anything that we had left over, and everyone agreed, and I agree as well, that should go towards our sinking funds. So 87 will be our total savings, bringing our budget down to 0, which is exactly what I want to do. I want to have a place for all of my money at the end of every week and at the end of every month. Okay, so let's see how we did with our variable expenses this week. So we're down here at week 4. We didn't add anything, but we did have a rollover in each account, so that helped us this week. We don't count my spending money and Logan's spending money. Those are for us to spend any way we want. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so starting with food, we started the week with $165. Let's see how much we spent on food this week. 20, 40, 41. So 165 minus 41. So we spent $124 on food. You guys, we are doing so great on food, finally. Like almost 2 years into budgeting and we're finally getting food under control. The cash envelopes really, really help. Okay, so 165 minus 124 leaves us with, was it 41? I think it was 41 that we're gonna roll over. Yep, so actually though, we're not gonna roll this over. We're gonna put this towards our sinking funds. So I'm gonna put that back there in the sinking fund envelope. We're gonna add that together at the end. Moving on to gas, we had $36 in the envelope at the beginning of the week. We did not add anything this week, and we have $10 left. So that means we spent $26 on gas this week, and this extra money is gonna go towards our sinking funds, our cash envelopes for our sinking funds. Okay, next is medical. We started with 30. We didn't add anything. Let's see how much we have left. 20, 25, 30. We have 30 left. We've had a big change in medical, you guys. Let me write this down so I don't forget. So the boys and I, so Jacob, Logan, and I, not David, are currently on Medicaid. When my income severely decreased, I qualified for Medicaid for like the first time in my life. So now I'm still getting used to this, but like, I don't have to pay copays like when I go to the doctor, and I don't have to pay copays when I pick up my prescriptions. It's still a little weird for me, and I don't have to pay a monthly fee as well. Like, it feels really weird, but our medical expenses are going down because of that. Now, the only person who has to pay copays when they go to the doctor or get medicine is David. So, yeah, so we're just not spending that much on medical these days, which is really, really awesome and a huge relief, because part of the thing that kept me in my job for as long as I was there was the health insurance. So I'm so grateful that there is an opportunity, there is this opportunity. Okay, and then miscellaneous, so we started with 160 and we didn't add anything. But we did spend stuff. Let me take out what I added today so that we can see how much I spent. What I spent money on was back to school supplies for Logan. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, oh yeah, I can do it for maybe $20. No, it was over $100 for his back to school expenses. Okay, so let's see, we had the 30, I need to take that out. And then we had 26. Oh wait. Oh, 10. We had, 30, 10, and then 41. Okay, so this is what we had in miscellaneous at the beginning of the week. So we had 160, we didn't add anything, but we spent some stuff for Logan. So we had 50, 60, 61, 62, 67. Okay, so we had $67 left over. So 160 minus 67, that's $93 that was spent. Oh, so not quite 100. Still way more than I was thinking it was going to be. So $93 spent on Logan's back to school stuff, and that leaves a rollover of what? 50, 60, 65, 66, 67. Okay, 67. Okay, I'm going to add these categories together really quickly here. Okay, so it looks like we're going to have $148 to put towards our sinking funds. Let me organize the money really quickly here, and then we'll count it and make sure it equals $148. So we have 50, 20, 40, 60, 10, 20, 5, 10, 15, 1, 2, 3. 148, yes. So that's what we have to put towards our sinking funds, our sinking funds. You know, back before we started this new budget plan, we used to put $600 a month towards our sinking funds. So it's not that much to put towards sinking funds, but at least it's something. And that will be another video. We're going to figure out, you and I together will figure out where we should put this money, which sinking funds this money should go to. Okay, so now that we have this information, we can finish off this sheet and then see and calculate where our money went this month. So for food this week, we spent $124. For gas, we spent $26. Miscellaneous, we spent $93. Medical, we didn't spend anything. So the amount going to sinking funds is going to be $148. On here, I did this wrong. I just noticed this. So this should have been 0. We didn't spend anything in medical, which is why we have a rollover of 30. Okay, so that makes this 243. So to save time, I already added the first 3 weeks together for each category, so we just need to add the 4th week now. Okay, so starting with bills. So this week, let's see what we... Okay, so this week we actually didn't budget anything for bills. We spent money on bills, but we didn't budget anything. So nothing plus $625 would be $625. So our budget this month for bills was $625. Okay, debt. We had 40 plus 445 this week, which would have been 485 plus $1397. That's $1882. So this month we budgeted $1882 for our debt. Okay, food. So down here we didn't add anything this week, and over the last several weeks we had $580 that we had added to our envelope. Okay, gas. We didn't add anything this week, so that was 30 plus nothing is 30. So we budgeted $30 this month for gas. The reason why our gas has gone down so much is because Logan's summer camp is over, so I didn't have to drive hardly anywhere. So that was really cool. Only like to the grocery store and things like that, and the post office. Okay, miscellaneous. So this week so our miscellaneous budget is 0. We don't budget anything for miscellaneous. We happen to have some extra money that we put in the miscellaneous envelope earlier on in the month, but we don't budget anything for that. Okay, medical. This month we budgeted 25, and we didn't for the first 3 weeks, and we didn't add anything else, so 25 was the budget. Sinking funds, as of this moment, our budget is 0. We're going to actually put the amount that we said we're going to spend, which is what, 148? So actual amount is 148. And we'll go back and do the other ones in just a second. So spending, we put aside $45 every week for 4 weeks. So that's 180, which is the amount we actually spent on that. And this month we're not rolling over anything. Okay, so let's go back and put the amount we actually spent in those first categories. I have the amount that we spent the first 3 weeks, so we're going to add that to what we spent this week, which is right over here. So starting with food. Oh wait, starting with bills. So we budgeted, okay. So the actual amount was $628 plus this week would be $32. So $628 plus $32. So we actually spent $660 on bills. So we were higher than what we budgeted. Debt, we budgeted $1,882. We spent $1,397 plus $485. That is $1,882. Oh, that is exact. Look at that, you guys. Nice. For food, we budgeted $480. As for the first 3 weeks, we spent $415 plus the $124 that we spent this week. So $124 plus $415. That's $539. So we spent $539 on food, which means we came in below budget on food. I want to say like for the first time ever. I could be wrong. Maybe there was another good week, but or a good month, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time ever that we did that. Okay, gas. So we budgeted $30. How much did we spend so far? Nothing. But then this week we did. We spent $26 this week. So that's it for the month. Miscellaneous, we budgeted at $0. We ended up putting $150 in the envelopes before this week, and then this week. Wait a second. That's not right. So I put $150 in the envelope, but we spent $93 of that. So would that would be our budget, right? So we budgeted $150, and then we ended up spending $93. I think I'm doing this right, you guys. If that does not make sense, you let me know. Okay, medical. We budgeted $25. We didn't add anything this week. We spent, over the first 3 weeks, we spent $25. So that is also exactly the same amount. Sinking funds, we didn't budget anything. We spent $148. Spending was $180, $180, and rollover is 0 and 0. Did I do this right? I don't know if I did this right. I think I did that right. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, so let me calculate the difference in each category, and then we'll calculate the percent of income that went to each category. So for bills, we had $625 minus $660. That is a negative difference of $35. Okay, and then we have, this was for debt, it was 0. The difference was 0. For food, we had $580. We only spent $539. So we have a positive difference of $41. Gas, we had $30. We only spent $26. So we had a positive difference of $4. Miscellaneous, we had $150. We only spent $93. So we have a positive difference of $57. Medical, we had $25, we spent $25, so that is a difference of 0. Sinking funds, we budgeted 0. We had negative $148. I don't know, the sinking funds and the miscellaneous are kind of throwing me off a little bit. I think that's the way I would do it. Okay, and then this is 0 and 0. So let's calculate the percent of income. So our income this month was $3,559. And the way I'm going to calculate the percent is I'm going to take the amount we actually spent divided by that, and that'll give us a percent. So 660 divided by 3,559. Oh, wait. Divided by 3. Okay, so that's 19%. I'm going to round up, so that'd be 19%. Okay, so debt, we have $1,882. We're going to divide that by 3,559, and that's 53%. Okay, for food, we spent $539, and we're going to divide that by 3,559, and that gives us a difference of 15%. I'm not a difference, sorry, percent total of income is 15%. Gas, so 26. Gas is, wow, so 0.7%, so not even 1%. Okay, so miscellaneous is 93, divided by 3,559, oops. Okay, so we'll say that's 3%. I'm rounding up in case you didn't notice. Medical is $25. It's also just a 0.7%. So I guess if I was going to round up even further, that would be 1%. I'm going to do that. So I'll have a whole number at the end when I add all this together. Okay. So now here, anyways, okay. So sinking funds, 148 divided by 35.59. So that's 4%. Okay, so for spending money, that's 180 divided by 35.59. 5%. Rollover would be 0. Okay, so I'm going to add all these together and it should be close to 100%. 101%. And that's because I rounded up. That's why it's not an even 100%. So let's compare this to last month's budget and see how we're doing. Okay, so this is the Where Did My Money Go August monthly spending comparison, where we're going to spend July's spending to August spending. Okay, to start with, in July, we brought home $4,357, and this month we only brought home, is that right? 3, 2, 3, 4, yeah, that's right, $3,235. So we had $1,122 less this month to work with than we did the month before. For bills, so bills we spent $660, which was 19% of our budget. For debt, we spent $1,882, which was 53% of our budget. Wow. Interesting. Last month we spent 33% of our budget on our debt. This time we did 53% to debt. Food was $539. Look at this difference, you guys. $13.33 versus $5.39. Oh, wow. So that was 15% of our budget this month compared to 24% last month. So gas, we spent $26 compared to $155 the month before, which was 1% of our budget. Miscellaneous, we spent $93. Look at that. We spent $796 last month. This is really fun to see, you guys. I've never done this before. It's really interesting to compare the months. This was before cash envelopes and this is after cash envelopes. So you really get to see the difference here. Okay, so that was 3% of our budget compared to last month where 15% of our budget went to miscellaneous expenses. Okay, medical was the same. We spent, was it 25? Yeah, we spent $25 on medical expenses, which was 1% of our budget. Sinking funds, we're going to spend $148 this month, which is 4% of our budget this month. Spending money, it's still $180, but this month it's more of our budget because we have a smaller amount to work with, so it's 5% of our budget this month. Rollover, we're not rolling anything over. So that's 0. Okay, when I added all these together, it came to 101%, which was more accurate than last month, and I had 105%. Okay, so let's calculate the change here. So is this the amount of money spent or the percent change? Okay, guys, I'm going to do, I don't know which one that's supposed to be, but I will do the percent change, and I'll do positives and negatives, okay? So we have a positive change of 5% in bills, so 5% more went to bills. Here, 20% more of our income went to debt. For food, we spent less of our income, so 9% less on food. Gas, we spent 2% less. Miscellaneous, we spent 12% less. Oh, that's cool. Medical was exactly the same. Sinking funds was 1% less, is that right? Yes, okay. And spending money was 1% more. Rollover was 6% less. So, okay. Okay guys, so I have a couple more videos I need to film today. This is it for August. August is closed out. I need to set up September, which I'm super excited about. I need to stuff my cash envelope. So those are 2 videos that will be coming out later this week. So make sure you check back for those. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, will you please give it a thumbs up? And I will see you all again next time. Bye everyone.